outfield, you have a little bit more leeway. Yeah, I just feel like it's extremely hard for an infielder, except for maybe at first base, to be mic'd up during those games.
I do know what happened to Max Muncy. He's still on the injured list, but we're so happy that he's willing to come on with his friends on foul territory. Max Muncy, the Dodgers third baseman, of course, all-star, a good friend of ours. We appreciate you, Max. First and foremost, how are you progressing? Obliques and hamstrings are a pain in the ass. You don't want to overdo it, but I know you miss it. So how are you doing, my friend?
We're hanging in there. Being hurt's probably the worst thing ever. Not progressing as fast as I would like, but with an oblique, it's just you just have to give it time. There's nothing you can really do. I think an oblique is possibly the worst position player injury that you can have because there's nothing you can do to strengthen it or to help it get better or to help it heal quicker. You just have to literally just have to sit there and wait. So it's been pretty rough.
Are you driving Kelly crazy?
Oh yeah. She, when you're hurt, you don't really get to travel with the team, and so at first Kelly was happy that I was home, but now she's, she's ready for me to get back out there.
Max, you had a setback right the other day, so you were where when this setback happened?
I was in Arizona. I don't know if I'd call it so much as a setback as just I didn't injure it any worse. It was just it didn't feel right, so we just kind of shut things down. So it's hard to call it a setback because I didn't make anything worse. It was just it wasn't healed as properly as we thought, and so we're giving it more time before we start ramping things back up again. But yeah, I was in the frying pan that was Arizona right now.
Where exactly? Where are you? Where were you on the rehab? Because I did this once, and so where are you on the rehab, like ramping it back up? Because you start they're like, oh, you can go take 5 swings off the tee, Max, but you only get 50%, and you're like, oh, this feels pretty good. And the trainer's like, nope, 5 only 5 and only 50%. So where are you on the scale?
We had done dry swings and we were starting to do flips. And I was kind of like, hey guys, this it just doesn't feel right. If this feels like if I push through this, we're going to make this way worse. And so we just kind of shut it down at that point, which was really hard for me because I try to push through everything. But having done about 3 or 4 obliques in the past, I know that this can get a lot worse if I don't let it heal.
I've never done an oblique, but I rarely swung ever, so that doesn't mean anything. But what is the process like? Do you have hands on you every day in the sense of like massaging and icing and sitting there and okay, slow rotation, and or is it like you said, you just got to sit there and let it heal?
You can't really do anything to speed up the process for that particular muscle, but what you try to do is you try to get everything else around it. So you get a lot of stretching, you get a lot of soft tissue, you get a lot of you get in the tubs a whole lot, but in terms of that actual muscle, there's nothing you can really do for that, and so it's just you wait for it to heal.
All right, I have some stats for you. Do you know these stats? Since May 15th, obviously the day that you went out, the Dodgers are 12-11. They are slashing 236, 307, 399. I asked one of your teammates the other day, what is it like to not have Max Muncy in the lineup? And can you explain the difference when Max is not in the lineup? I'm not saying that you are the MVP candidate. I'm saying that what do you feel like your team misses when you're not in the lineup? It's not saying anything bad against your teammates. It's saying what do you feel like you bring to the lineup that they're missing right now, and how can they get that until you're back?
I mean, I think the most obvious one is just my ability to work the at bat. I think on average I see 5 to 6 pitches at bat. I don't know what my actual number is. I think it's right around 5 pitches in a bat. Which is kind of a lot. That allows other guys to go out there and do their own thing. And I feel like when you don't have me in the lineup, you have other guys trying to find a way to work those at bats when it's not really their game to do that. When you have me in there, it allows other guys to just go back to being themselves a little bit. and know that, hey, if the guy in front of me swings first pitch, they're not scared that they're going to piss me off because I want to swing first pitch when I usually rarely do that. It allows people to be themselves a little bit more. I think that's one of the biggest things is just, when you have guys trying to beat people that they're not, they're getting out of their rhythm a little bit. And I'm not saying that's what's happening with us right now. I just think that's that's an obvious statement to make for me that, like, I'll sit there and take a bunch of pitches and work in a bat. And even if it's going to put me in a bad hole, I'll take till I have 2 strikes. I'll take till I have 1 strike. I'll just, I'll make the pitcher work work a little bit out there, throw some pitches. And yeah, my result may not always be the best, but it's causing that guy to work a lot more. And then when the next guy comes up, it allows him to be himself without having to think about, I need to take some pitches right here. Just kind of lets them be them.
I like it, Max. You're going to tell Freddie, hey, Freddie, you can't swing at the first pitch every at bat. So, because I'm not in the lineup. So I get it. I love it. I love that because I was grateful for you guys that took all those pitches because then I could swing it whatever the hell pitch I wanted. Do you watch every inning on the road? And did you miss the Yankees series? Because that looked like an awesome series on TV.
No, I watch every inning. I'm pretty locked in on it. And going back to my wife, that's one of the things that drives her a little wild is she'll want me to be involved with the kids, and I'm like, hey, the game's on right now. I'm pretty locked in. It's I kind of live for this stuff, so I definitely pay very close attention when they're on the road.
Are you Tristan Cassis though? Have you seen Tristan Cassis when he's standing in the dugout and the pitcher's pitching? Are you at home and you're like, oh yeah, I would have hit that one. Oh, can't get me on that pitch on TV. Like, because I can imagine you probably have a pretty small TV, right? It's probably like 80 to 100 feet wide. So you're probably like standing there and you're like at the bat and you're like, oh yeah, you can't get me on that pitch.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm more just I'm watching little things. I try to just pay attention to little things that's going on. What are our pitchers doing? What are their pitchers doing? Is there anything that we're giving away that maybe the guys aren't seeing? There's always information that can be gathered out there. And, I know we have whole teams of guys that are looking at that stuff now, but it's just, I like to pay attention to it too. Is our pitcher putting his arm in a weird spot that's giving away a certain pitch? Is he moving his glove a certain way? Is their guy doing the same thing? Is Will setting up too early behind the plate? Is he, I try to pay attention to a lot of that stuff.
So you're trying to do your part. You're trying to help the team. That's awesome. Being on the IL, like you're trying to help the team. Quick one from me. I was trying to look it up. Do you have any at bats in Yankee Stadium?
No, I've actually never played there.
I didn't think so. I never found any. So does missing the series mean a little more? Or are you like, it's okay. I'll get there in 2 years?
It actually meant a lot to me. New York is the only place in the big leagues that I have not been. And, when I was in Oakland, I got sent down the day of that road trip both years in a row. And so it was, for me, it sucked really bad to not be able to go there and play there.
Yeah, that sucks. I can't believe that. Talk about luck. What is your take, Max, on microphones during the game and players wearing mics? And what were you? I know you're watching every game, so I felt so bad for Kike with the error at third. And do you think he's collected his $10,000 yet?
I think that's the biggest thing that guys will say they're okay with it. Is that's a nice little cash bag coming your way. But I would say most players are probably against it, despite the answer that they're going to give you. And it as an infielder, it's really hard to be mic'd up as an infielder. You got to be so in tune with the game. The outfield, you have a little bit more leeway. I just feel like it's extremely hard for an infielder, except for maybe at first base, to be mic'd up during those games. And especially Kike is obviously Kike with his attitude and his personality and very outgoing guy. I think you could kind of tell even before that error happened, he's extremely locked in on the infield. He wasn't, he's not being super outgoing because he's trying to pay attention to everything that's going on, especially at third base. You don't have a whole lot of time to react over there. And so, for me, the in-game mics are just really tough for infielders.
Did it cause the error? And if it did cause the error, how can we do it differently if we're going to have the mics? Like maybe not like a two-way, just have them mic'd up and you hear it, or
I am not going to say it did or didn't cause the error. It was kind of a tough hop for him, and just watching it, it looked like it took a weird bounce, like it bounced the other way. And from some of the things I was hearing from the guys, the playing surface at Yankee Stadium was not the best. Watching on TV, they still had the lines for the soccer game that they had there. So usually when you're doing a multi-sport field, the playing surface gets pretty rough, and it's not, the bounces aren't as true as they usually are. And so I'm not going to say the mic caused it or didn't cause it, but they look like a tough play in general.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, listen, as a broadcaster, I love it when we get to talk to guys during the game. We did it in London with Bryce, and Bryce was playing first, and he got a throw over, and he was like, oh gosh. Like, because he was so, we're asking him mid-question, and he's over there holding the runner on, and then all of a sudden Suarez is like, oh, yeah, we're going to pick over. And he's like, oh, gosh, right? But I think it's great because you get to hear their actual reactions to plays. Like when guys go, Kike, oh, I messed that one up. Like, yeah, that's because that's what you think. And how many times, listen, I made errors, and I'm like, oh, man, I screwed that one up. And you're like, hopefully nobody's looking at me, and there's 40, 50,000 people staring right at you, right? But you get to hear the real emotion. And I know it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I love it because it trust me, if there would have been a mic on me, I would have been fined so much because they would have been asking me a question. I'd be like, can you guys shut the fuck up here for a minute, please? Well, I'm trying to call the game, right? And then you miss the ball.
There's nothing worse than making the error, and the guy in the front row that's got a mouthful of nachos and a beer in his hand is just yelling at you, saying that he can make the play. It's there's nothing worse than that. It's like, yeah, sure you could, buddy. But it's just, I think as a fan, the in-game mics are definitely really cool. Because like you said, you get a kind of a firsthand look at how guys react on the field, and there's a lot of things that go on that fans don't hear or see, or just communication between the teammates, and the mic doesn't always give you those interactions, but it gets fans a little bit closer to that. So I can understand from a fan perspective how awesome it is, but as a player, and like I was saying, especially in the infield, it's a tough one to have your focus divided. When there's a chance that there's a play that's going to be made on the infield.
FT is headed to the MLB All-Star Game this year, and there's only one way you should be finding tickets for any ball game. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, so they have you covered for all of your baseball ticket needs.
I'm super pumped to hit the Futures game this year. That new skills competition looks electric.
I agree, Kratz. It's like the Olympics for baseball. Cannot wait to see that. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. Baseball season's in full swing, and you don't want to miss out. SeatGeek has your tickets to every game and, of course, concerts, festivals, and more.
Every ticket's backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps.
And Kratz, FT came through for the people. Use our code FOUL for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code FOUL. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app, please.
Let's say you were in the booth. Talking to Kike during that time, and he makes the error. There was a little bit of silence afterwards, not knowing or understanding what to say. What do you, as his friend, his teammate, say in that moment? Because we had this discussion. I know what I would have said if it was my teammate, but what would you have said?
My first initial reaction is, since Miggy Rowe came over last year, anytime you kind of make a play like that, he'll like to, just immediately pop out how you hold that. Whether it's a throwing error, say, how'd you hold that? He loves to say that to the pitchers when they throw one about 45 feet. So maybe I would have just dropped that on him. Hey, how'd you see that? How'd you hold that? And just something to try to lighten the mood.
All right, put on your Andrew Friedman cap, Max Muncy. What does this team need at the deadline?
For everyone to get healthy.
I was going to say, besides getting you back in that lineup, no doubt.
Well, we got some big pitchers coming back. We got some big bullpen pieces coming back. We're missing Bazooka. We're missing Joe Kelly. We're missing Kirsch. Missing Bobby Miller. Missing Ryan Brazier. I don't think people understand how big of a key he was for us last year. We're missing a lot of big pieces for us. And, I think a sneaky piece we're missing is Kyle Hurt. That guy has the potential to be an absolute shutdown reliever. His stuff's absolutely nasty, and he showed that a little bit for us this year before he got hurt. And that's that if you get some of those guys back, that's a trade deadline in itself.
All right, Max, before I let you go, I'm sitting here. I'm in Cary, North Carolina for USA baseball. Your third base coach is Dino Ebel, right? Have you seen his
Yes.
son? Is that his son that is here? Because I've seen a kid that's like 6'8" that has Ebel on his back. Is that his son?
Well, he's probably got two sons there right now. They're both probably first rounders. They're incredible, and they've been around the field for a lot of years now, and so they've seen a lot of work. They've seen how a lot of guys do it at the big league level, and I think that's done nothing but help them. And they're extremely quiet kids that have just sat there and watched. They've never tried to get in the way. They've always just watched and enjoyed it, and they've helped out whenever they've been asked to help out. Sometimes when we're doing ground balls, they'll go at second base and help turn double plays. If we have too many guys on the left side of the field, they'll help out. And they're both incredibly talented players, and everyone over here has been excited to see their journey. We're all following the high school playoffs that were going on, and I believe their team won the championship. Dino was pumped about that, obviously, but the whole team was following that, and we had it on in the clubhouse one of the days, and so it's fun to see those guys go through their journey.
Yeah, it's crazy to think what the Ebel boys are doing, and obviously Max with when George Lombard was there too, and now the Lombard boys are already in. One's in the minors and one's on his way. Max Muncy, best of luck. We want you healthy. The team is so much better when you're in that lineup. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today on Foul. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.